We begin today with the race to the White House and a campaigning blitz for President Biden after a week of damage control after that tumultuous debate performance last Thursday. The next 48 hours will no doubt be vital to his future as he hits the campaign trail and sits down in a highly anticipated one-on-one interview, which will now air tomorrow. It's a proverbial race against time as the president comes under increasing pressure to show that he is fit to command the most powerful office in the world. Last night, President Biden met with Democratic governors from all across the country to try to shore up support, while others in his own party have told him to step aside. We begin our coverage today with correspondent Kelly Meyer live for us there at the White House. Kelly, the president will be in Wisconsin tomorrow, but you've just learned that one key Democrat from that state will not be there.
Yeah, and that's Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin. She will not be standing by the president's side tomorrow in Wisconsin. Her staff telling us that she had a pre-scheduled event already for her own campaign. She's also up for re-election in 2024 and in her own tight race. So she won't be by the president, but they say she announced that before the president said he was coming to town. But as you mentioned, the president's doing a campaign blitz of his own. The White House trying to put him out in public in front of the American people, in front of his own party and voters, to let them know that he can do this job for another 4 years. We saw them doing that this week here in Washington, D.C. He's going to hit the road, head to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's going to go to Pennsylvania. We know he's doing that sit-down interview airing now in prime time. And he also did some radio interviews that were released just this morning, including one in Milwaukee where he admitted that he screwed up. Take a listen to this.
I had a bad night. And the fact of the matter is that, I screwed up. I made a mistake. That's 90 minutes on stage. Look at what I've done in 3.5 years.
Now, remember, Milwaukee, where this aired, and Wisconsin in general, that's where the Republican National Convention is less than 2 weeks from now. President Biden, though, hasn't taken questions from the press during some of the events he had at the White House and in D.C. this week, including that Medal of Honor ceremony here in the East Room yesterday. He rushed out after that, but later he did sit down and talked with governors, Democratic governors from across the country, both here at the White House and virtually. They reemerged from that, some of them coming to talk to the press afterwards and saying that they pledged their support to President Biden. Take a listen.
We were honest about the concerns that we were hearing from people. And we were also honest about the fact that as the president continued to tell us and show us that he was all in, that we said that we would stand with him. Because as Governor Walz said, the president has always had our backs. We're going to have his back as well.
We're also learning that in that meeting, President Biden told the governors that he saw a doctor after the debate. He had a check-in and he's feeling better after the White House had said that he had a cold after the debate performance. Earlier in the day, the White House press secretary said that he hadn't had a medical exam by his doctor since February. This morning, we were talking with the White House senior spokesperson, Andrew Bates, saying that, yes, he did see a doctor. He had a check-in several days after the debate, and he's doing well. So a bit of confusion there that they were trying to clear up as the news continues to come out of this White House. Nichole.
Yeah, a little bit more confusion surrounding all of that. Kelly, though, obviously it is a holiday. What are the president and the first family doing today for the 4th?
Yeah, so they are gearing up here at the White House for their annual 4th of July celebration as the fireworks behind the scenes, as we were talking about, continue with more Democrats calling for him to drop out of the race. But for the White House here today, it's business as usual. It's the 4th of July holiday. They're going to be having a barbecue with military families. And then later tonight, they will watch the fireworks show from out on the South Lawn. We will be there to monitor it all here as he tries to enjoy his holiday amidst everything happening in this past week since the debate. Nichole.
All right, Kelly Meyer, live for us there in Washington. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.